Well, it's official. The depth chart has been revealed at West Virginia, and it's not the way you might expect it. Rich Rodriguez, man, we got to love him.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about the West Virginia Mountaineers today in a kind of an odd episode. I do have a couple of things I want to say first, but let's get to the sponsor first, guys. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time, of course. And right now with Game Time, download the app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Let's watch the video as it played out. I think that's the best place to start, and then we'll get into the rest of the video here.
We'll have what we call an answer sheet. I have a play sheet. I'm not usually looking at to call plays. If I got to look at it, I don't know my offense. You know what I mean? I may look at it for a special situation, but a lot of times I'm just covering my mouth because I don't want to see him cussing, reading my lips. I'm like, okay, it ain't for anything other than that.
Thank you to Ears Nation for that. As you can see right here at the bottom, you can read the words depth chart, right? Depth chart right there. You can read it. So, yes, it is the depth chart. Now, what I was saying in the beginning, I have a couple things to preface this with. I have seen Skylar Callahan. I've seen other people put this out. Of course, this can change, right? This can definitely change moving forward into whatever you want to say the next couple of weeks. It's been noted there's been pretty well an open competition going into the first game of the season. That said, pretty doggone sure we just got to see who the starting quarterback is. And it's no surprise, man. Nico Marchiol sits at the top of this depth chart. Pretty cool, man. Something that he definitely deserves. And right there it is, right? And if you need further proof, let me see here. Let me see what I can do. Obviously that's just a picture. You can look as hard as you want, but because it is hard to read the names, and I think some people would argue that you can't see the names well enough. But once you look at the actual depth chart online, the official depth chart with the official pictures that they have online, it gets quite a bit clearer in my personal opinion, right? So let me get to it here. And by the way, some of these are different. So I do want to say that as well. Let me take a quick screenshot. Boom. All right. So these are the quarterbacks' pictures. And for those of you listening on audio, just listen along here. But as you can see, there's the picture of Nico Marchiol with the hair split in the middle, right? And then you can see here the picture of Nico Marchiol with the hair split in the middle. Wrong place. But yeah, so that's definitely him. And that's definitely Jalen Henderson below him with the long dreads, right? He just got him in a ponytail here. But yeah, so that's definitely him right there below Nico. And then below him, that's Max Brown, right? You can see it. Well, I don't have it on this one. But, Max Brown's got the big poofy hair like that. So not a shock to see. I just think it's something that confirms that Nico's been leading the competition all along. Rich Rod said the whole time it doesn't really give you much of an advantage, really. Anyways, and we're playing Robert Morris. So it's like it'd be different if we were playing Penn State or something in week 1 again. But we're not. We're playing a team we should be overmatching and should beat, right? For all intents and purposes. So while I'm sure he's not happy about this, I mean, why would he be? Why would he be, right? But I think that at the end of the day, it's a mistake. He made a mistake. Rich Rodriguez is a very candid person. He's a very upfront guy. I think, some people have said, is he an accidental genius? Did he do this on purpose to kind of get by everybody or to try to throw somebody off? Rich Rod's really smart, but I don't think you need these kind of games to beat Robert Morris. If you're going to play Penn State, I could see possibly the theory that maybe you toss this thing up like this and hope that somebody reads too far into it, right? But in this situation, I think that's probably not the case. I was also able to make out a couple of the positions in other places. We see Landon Livingston and Carson Lee 1 and 2 at center. We see Kimo Wakaniole at right guard. We see Tykese Crawford at right tackle, followed by Xavier Bosley in the second string at right tackle. So that knocks Xavier Bosley for now out of the starting tackle spot on the right side. And then on the left guard side, I wasn't able to quite make that one out yet. I hadn't had a chance to keep going through it because you're trying to match pictures, really. And some of these are pretty similar. But that's Nick Cray over at the left tackle spot. So, what we saw in the scrimmage the other day is what we're getting here. That's also Malika Agbo, second string left tackle, and so on and so forth. So it's definitely interesting, I think, to monitor the situation here. Also, Grayson Barnes over here at starting tight end. As you can see, he's got the hair parted just in the middle. That's definitely him. So, a lot to look at for sure. Let's go ahead and share the screen and I think this may be a little easier to do if we just share screen and go, let's see, let's roll with this right here. All right. So maybe it'll be a little easier to do this way. Obviously, you can tell this is Xavier Bosley, right? You see how the hair is, you see how the facial structure is, that kind of stuff. And then you get to this picture, wrong one, this picture, and you can see Xavier Bosley, right? That's him right there. You can tell. Same thing, right? Oops. So, obviously some of these are a little easier to tell than others. Obviously, you can see Tykese Crawford has a big mound of hair that's pulled back here. And then if you look at the right tackle spot, on the actual sheet, you can see it's a guy that's got a bunch of hair like that. And there's no other O lineman that I know of that has a bunch of dreads like that as well. So just a lot of it's just putting two together. Some of it's guesswork, to be honest. Some of it's like we've known all along, right? It's like we've known basically what this is going to be. We just didn't have confirmation. And so this kind of gave us that confirmation. Sucks to see Carson Lee at second string center for now. I was really hoping to see him win one of the jobs. I was really hoping to see him maybe win one of the guard spots, but he's such a good center. And it just tells me how good Landon Livingston is if he doesn't inevitably win this job. But overall, we got a clear picture today of just what this depth chart looks like. So, Rich Rodriguez, you let one slip on this one, brother. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. And like we said, maybe West Virginia decides to use this to their advantage and roll out. Tell Nico, hey, look, just to throw people off, we're going to roll Jalen Henderson out there for the first series and then give you the job or whatever, just so people can be taken off guard or whatever you want to say. Overall, though, not shocked, but definitely, what's the word? It's interesting, right? It's a lot. I wish we see the defensive side. But, obviously that's another time for another day. He'll probably never bring another call sheet out with him to the press conference. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the rest of it. Obviously, I think, it's hard to make out some of the dudes on the list. So it's like, I have my guesses, but at the end of the day, I don't have them in stone. I did notice Scotty Fox was 4th-string quarterback and not 3rd for now. That lets me know Max Brown must be performing at a pretty high level, at least based on the picture that we can see here. And if you look at how Scotty Fox looks with that blonde mound, it's not a shock at all to see. Um, you can kind of tell that's him down there right there with that blonde hair. Plus, Max Brown is just so his hair just sticks out like a sore thumb, you know. So if you go to Mac, like if you go like there's Max Brown, like if you just go to his X account, even um, let's see. Well, no, I got this pulled up, don't I? Now I can just do this. Where is it? Quarterbacks. Yeah, here it is right here. He's got it pulled back as well. But yeah, he's got a huge amount of an afro. So yeah, so obviously we got some clarity on these positions. That's cool. Oh, I had this pulled up, didn't I? Yeah, but you can see here like the afro is there, man. The afro is definitely there for him. So that's it. I think we found out a lot. I don't know what you guys think about it. Hopefully, nobody gets mad that we talked about this today. I'm not trying to piss anybody at the university off any more than I already have. But Nico, man, and you know what? I kind of feel a little vindicated because, as a lot of you know, I backed off Jalen Henderson as my starter a little bit over the last month. Now, I did do a video on him 2 days ago saying he's coming. And I do believe that. But overall, I think Nico has earned the opportunity at this point to walk out there first. But none of this means anybody's going to keep these jobs, right? Until bullets are flying, you're just not going to know exactly what to do, and who's going to do what. So, Jacob, I think that's just thinking. Somebody said I think this is 3D chess, and that the depth chart is fake. It can't be, bub. The reason is because of all the players all the guys that are on first string are guys that we have either learned through intel, that I've been told through behind the scenes, or that we've seen like in pictures of the scrimmages. Like these are all the same players that, you know, why would he need to fool Robert Morris though? You got to ask yourself that. Why? It's just I think you're mind effing yourself a little bit on this one, man. He doesn't need to fool Robert Morris, So and because think about it, after Robert Morris, there's no need to hide the depth chart anymore. It's out. Everybody knows. Maybe you don't know who second and third string are, but that matters a little bit less, So so it's going to happen at Robert Morris either way. It's just why I don't understand what the big deal about it is. Maybe he did this as a way to throw us a bone so that we could just know internally, like, okay, we know, even though it's not officially announced yet. And I'm sure Rich Rod will make a joke about, I know Rich Rod by now. I think he'll probably make a joke about Nico whenever he announces Nico's the starter. He'll probably say something along the lines, but you guys already know that, right? If he does it publicly, that is. All right. Up next on Locked On West Virginia, we got a big update today on the eligibility of Jamori Robinson, Jeff Weimer, Ty Edwards, and Justin Harrington. And it's something that hasn't been done in a lot of these eligibility cases, as I don't think it's been done in any of them that I know of. Let's talk about it next here on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time, guys. And with Game Time, right now is the time. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories and not dealing with the stresses of ticket shopping. That's where Game Time comes in. It makes concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime anyway, and you can save up to 60% off your first killer last-minute deal in your own right. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets and show tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms are going to apply here, but create that account, redeem the code at LOCKEDON COLLEGE for $20 off today. Download the Game Time app where you get last-minute tickets, lowest prices, and that's guaranteed, and you'll answer yourself the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. It's segment 2. Of course, we're going to crack open a do. Code Red style, as Rich Rod has revealed the depth chart to the masses. All right, guys. So I'm going to read to you something that, let me get over here to this screen first. Bang, bang, boom. Okay, that way you have something to look at while I read some of this because it's kind of boring a little bit. I wouldn't say boring. It's just so basically what's happened is, oh, I went to the wrong page. My fault. Let me go to my messages down here to Sam's page. Okay, so Sam says the West Virginia Attorney General's office has filed a motion to weigh in on the eligibility lawsuit involving 4 would-be West Virginia transfers, supporting the athlete's argument that challenged eligibility rules violate the Sherman Antitrust Act. This is huge. The first line of this cracks me up. Old habits die hard. Oh, God. The AG's office has not playing around with the NCAA, are they? And so I'll let you read through some of this stuff. I'll flip it on each page. That way you can kind of pause it as you need to. But so I'll go ahead and read off. I'm not going to read straight from this. I've got my own kind of thing on what I think it is. All right. First off, let's answer the big question. Who sent in the letter? Is it really a legal brief? Well, it's from the Attorney General's office, which is where Governor Patrick Morrisey was last year. This was his understudy his direct subordinate at the AG's office last year, J.B. McCuskey, who was a Republican. And Morrisey obviously is big buddies with this guy. This, in my opinion, is the same thing as Morrisey extending his hand out and saying, I support this, right? So he just won the election in 2024 with a whopping 70% vote. So he's the one representing the state here and filing this document to support our guys. Now, is Governor Morrisey involved? Well, like I said, I think he probably is. Obviously, he won governor with a big 62% win this past year. And so obviously he's now sworn back in January. So on paper, he's not involved, but this is coming from McCuskey. Like I said, Morrisey still oversees the entire whole state government. You don't think that if he didn't want this done, it would be done? No, he's aware and probably supportive. And especially since he's been through the NCAA in this exact same situation before. And I still wouldn't be surprised to see something come out in support of McCuskey. Now, let's get into what this whole thing is about. We all know the story with Jamor Robinson, Jeff Weimer, Ty Edwards, and Justin Harrington. They're the plaintiffs in this case, meaning that they're the ones suing the NCAA. Obviously they're saying that these rules are screwing them on how many years they can play college ball. The bad guy here is the NCAA, right? They're the big organization up on the mountain, the castle on the hill with the lightning behind it. They're the big organization that runs college sports, as we know. What are they playing? What are they doing? They're challenging the 5-year rule. Super simple. You just say the rule basically says you got to finish all your playing seasons within 5 years from when you start college. It doesn't matter if you start college and get drafted. I don't know. Maybe that one doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you start college and have some kind of sickness happen. You still lose that time. Like, let's say it takes multiple years. You can only medically redshirt one of those most likely. Or if you go to junior college, like a lot of these kids have, even though junior college is in the NJCAA, not even a part of the NCAA. And here we are with this. So obviously they're in a situation where they played multiple years JUCO, not a part of the NCAA. It has different rules. It even has a different GPA required to transfer than a 4-year grad transfer from inside the Power 4 or G5 or anywhere else. It's 2.0. From the junior college, it's 2.5. So what's this mean? Well, basically, if you started at a non-NCAA school like junior college or outside their system, it still counts against your clock, even though you weren't under the NCAA rules. That means these guys lose eligibility, like getting punished for playing somewhere else first. They really can't get much national spotlight. They can't get NIL money. They can't get the best coaching, and they want a preliminary injunction, which is basically a court order to stop the NCAA from enforcing this rule while the case goes on. That's what this is in a nutshell, right? That's what they're asking for. Let me go ahead and flip the page for you guys. So now the AG office is stepping in on what's called an amicus curiae. Basically, it's just Latin for friend of the court, right? It's basically saying, look, we support this injunction. So they're not officially a part of the lawsuit, but they're like a buddy offering advice to a judge to help decide the case. You know, they're supporting this player's side, saying, hey, look, judge, side with the kids, man. Block the NCAA's rule because it's anti-competitive and it breaks antitrust laws like the Sherman Act says. So the state has a pretty big interest here, obviously, because West Virginia makes the state a lot of money. And, you know, these kids are going to have a big factor on the field for West Virginia this year, right? So what does the rundown of the letter say? Basically, the NCAA is this huge group with over 1,000 colleges across the U.S. split into 3 divisions. They make the rules. Everybody has to follow it, right? Like through a board of governors, division of councils, and each division votes on its own bylaws, which is basically rules. And some changes need approval from conferences or autonomy in certain areas. The problem is that the 5-year rule we mentioned starts your eligibility clock when you enroll in college. And no, are there exceptions? Very few. Internships, studying abroad, international sports, joining the Peace Corps. But if you play ball at junior college or overseas school, you're tough luck, right? Clock's ticking. That's bad because the Attorney General's office is saying, hey, they're the bully with a monopoly power here. Basically, they're the one big buyer in the market for the student athletes. It punishes kids who dare go outside the NCAA system first, making it harder for non-NCAA schools to recruit top talent. What is the result? Less competition. That hurts everybody, y'all. Players get fewer chances. Schools like West Virginia lose out on transfers, and fans see weaker teams as a result. They even throw in some stats if you read through. Let me flip to the next page here for you. So, sorry, I lost my place. Where's my stats? Oh, the NCAA controls 70% of the minutes watched in college football games, and conferences like the SEC dominate viewership, right? So that means that the chances for them to be seen anywhere but in these places are very, very slim to none, right? Basically takes a guy like, it could be me or you. Like I've done this. There are people that I know that are fans that watch college basketball or college football, or I mean high school basketball or high school football, that have actually notified a coach and said, hey man, you need to check this kid out. And he's like, holy cow, this kid don't have any offers? Nope. Offer. And then all of a sudden the newspaper comes out. Wow, this came out of nowhere, you know? Yeah, it's the first offer I got, the kid says. That's because some nobody pointed him out and the coach loved him, right? That's how crazy it has to be for sometimes for Jamoy Robinson, who was always going to be seen, or Jeff Weimer maybe, or somebody like that, to get noticed in JUCO. It's just not easy. You basically got to be like a Sincere Bowers and run a 4.3 to get noticed. In today's day and age, it is easier though. Let's be honest there. So, that's just the truth. But our state cares, guys, because we're home to all these schools and athletes who say they've been burned by the rules the NCAA has enforcing. So the AG is enforcing federal and state antitrust laws to protect them, saying, hey, look, NCAA, you've been told to stop this anti-competitive stuff before, even in past court cases, and you're still at it. Oh. It's time to knock that off, right? So I think at the end of the day, all they're asking for is an injunction to stop the rule from hurting kids that are in JUCO, and because they were overlooked, in a lot of cases they were just overlooked. It's not really their fault. In some cases they had to develop. Either way, they need this injunction so they can play. Some guys develop slower, right? So it's an elite level that they need to be at, and this rule protects the NCAA's grip on the market. So this would be huge for West Virginia if this happened. Obviously, these kids are majorly important to the upcoming season. Let's go to break really quick, and we'll put a bow on this episode right after the break. We'll be right back. All right, guys. So back to the letter, but yeah, as you can see here, I basically went through everything that it says. But I do love in the beginning, old habits die hard, and the National Collegiate Athletic Association can't seem to quit violating the Sherman Act. The NCAA has been told to stop its anti-competitive behavior many times in the last 40 years, including by this court, but each time it's called out, it finds a new way to punish student athletes who dare defy self-protectionist rules. So it prevents another anti-competitive relapse, basically. So this is going to be interesting. I think, like Sam points out, if you look at what Sam says here down below in the comments, I might have to I'll probably end up bringing him back on for another update because he's a lawyer and does this sports stuff. He says this is a rather significant turn of events as the first time a state attorney general has weighed in on one of these cases. Though, of course, this particular office has already been down this road, obviously, with Governor Morrissey. So he said, looks like West Virginia's AG office didn't get the memo about Americans' name change. Oh, I don't know what this microphone, if I just touch it, of course, if I just touch it, it does that. You know what I mean? It mutes it. It's kind of frustrating because my hands are always moving around. But yeah, so I guess they didn't realize it got changed to the American Conference. They took our jobs. They took our jobs. That's what that reminds me of, man. Oh man. DCAT, I just did one with Drake Toll. I don't know, not even an hour ago about this. But here's the thing. I don't even know about the rumors really. I don't even know about them. I pay so little attention to conference realignment because here's the thing. We're stuck here till 2030 no matter what, unless something crazy happens. So there's no, I mean, somebody tell me what the rumors are about real quick if they can. I'll just look it up. WVU SEC rumors. I don't care to do it live real quick. What's going on? 11 seconds ago. Oh, wow. Keenan Cummings, West Virginia is hoping to flip a 4-star Florida State 2026 recruit. Nice. Is it a podcast or something that's talking about it? It's hard to tell. I'm not seeing anything there. Latest. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here, guys, but I mean, somebody let me know if you yeah. Somebody let me know where I can find it. I'll look into it after the show. I mean, I don't care to do a video on it. It's just, to be honest, conference realignment videos don't really hit like they used to. It's just the truth. I wish in a lot of ways that I would have been doing them when the topic was really hot, and I mean really hot. Like Coos is at 10,000 subscribers, I think, and I would say probably 2 or 3 of those are conference realignment. Like they really like helped his channel grow. So, anyways, thank you guys for joining in on this one. I appreciate you all very much. And if Coos did an SEC video, go check it out. He covers conference realignment. He does a great job at it. I would suggest going to check him out, man. He's better at it than I am with conference realignment, to be honest. Just like I have my own strengths, right? But at the end of the day, y'all, I appreciate y'all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Make sure you see me here in a little bit. I'll be doing another video. Got a couple other topics in mind, especially now that we have a depth chart. Well, tentative depth chart. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day. Do me a favor, guys. Check out Locked On Portal with Brian Smith. He does an excellent job, as we always talk about at Locked On Portal. He has the latest rumors on conference realignment. Make sure you check him out. And I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out of here.